Welcome back, my delinquents. Today we're gonna be watching Money Not Love by Homath. Did equality work? And we're watching this today because there's a cyclo rolling in and I got nothing better to do. And that's why I'm late with this upload. With some other stuff. Because I've been cyclone prepping. Woo! Danger! I love it. Okay, let's get into the video, guys, and see if I can math.
Money, not love. I'm sorry. I'm dating for money, not love.
Well, at
What are we even watching?
least you're
Okay, I'm gonna be for real. I already have a problem with the concept. I don't really like it, but we're gonna see where the math is on this. I don't think marrying for money is a good idea for many reasons. Next, I feel like if you need money, make it yourself. It's far easier.
honest. So why the change?
I have always entered relationships with like a 50-50 mindset. Like I'm always ready for like equality.
Well, that's good to hear. That's not like her at all. You want equality from others, so you give it to others.
Yes, I think you should strive for equality. Obviously, you can't be equal in all things, especially in a relationship, especially if you plan to have kids and stuff, because it happens, you know. But you should strive to give as much as your partner.
That's the golden rule.
Even though there is no equality because we live in a patriarchy, so why am I acting equal?
Oh,
Okay, I have a vague idea of what a patriarchy is, but I don't really know how it connects to the relationship status of like equality. Because I feel like the problems with equality is that there's just some labor or actions both genders can't do, so you can't be 100% equal on them. Like guys can't give birth, guys can't breastfeed, so of course you can't split that equally. That's impossible. So I can see that argument, but the whole well, the patriarchy just feels like a blanket statement without actually going into a discussion. I don't know.
well, that is kind of what I expected. It's exactly like her. Anyway, I guess you're not dating.
Men must pay. Government help. I'm independent. I'm raising my standards. This is a very American thing. As an Australian, I mention this all the time. The men must pay isn't really a huge thing here. 50-50 is pretty common. And I'm going to be real, you're going to be lucky if you don't get mooched off. Or dates.
For money
As
for
a girl or a guy. Like it's Russian roulette.
reasons. By the way, the kind of men that you can date for money might not also be the kind who want to smash the patriarchy. He looks like he hates the patriarchy. You should get his number. Anyway, it sounds like you don't want equality or tradition.
Sorry.
It's fine, really. Just tell me, why are you...
I think a lot of people think if you marry for money, you want traditional values, but not automatically, because like a lot of guys that like gold diggers don't want a traditional wife, other than the whole like maybe obey them thing or whatever. But yeah, I would agree that you wouldn't automatically go for a guy that respects women heavily wouldn't marry a gold digger. So he has some good points in there.
dating for money?
I've never ever thought that I would be the type of person who would want to date someone for money, but dating for love isn't working.
Agreed.
I'm not enjoying myself.
Not working, people. Sorry if my mic keeps moving, but I think dating for love works, but there is a fine line. What am I looking for? Unconditional love doesn't really work because you would starve to death. And I think that's the difference. Is that like everyone says there's only unconditional love you're ever gonna get is from your mama, and it's just because all love in a sense does have some conditions to it. And yeah, and if you have any self-respect, you do have to have a couple conditions, like, oh, make sure they're not a lazy bum that takes all my money, punches me in the face. I don't know, lets me starve to death. I don't know. Like we all have little things like that. Like so, unconditional love just doesn't work fully, but love does. Like dating for love or whatever.
And transparently, inflation is crazy.
Okay, so then you don't have a new ideology, you're just giving up on equality because it's too expensive, which is one of the funniest possible sentences.
I only have a few.
That is funny, but what's also funnier is like a lot of people's like, oh, men shouldn't be equal to women because men are superior, blah blah blah. But I've seen tons of guys that goes, I don't want to be superior, I want to be a housewife, please, someone. Everything's too expensive. Can I be a housewife? And like that is the male equivalent of that, of just going, someone pay my rent, please. I'm scared. Everything's so expensive. please.
few good years left in me, like I am going to use them for what they're worth.
So if I got that
That is such a weird statement. I only got a couple good years left in me.
right, you want to trade being a woman for money without any of that traditional stuff, while also smashing the patriarchy, which
To be fair, she hasn't said if she's 100% against tradition. Just because she wants some rights doesn't mean she's 100% non-traditional. Like the whole, oh, I must have all the nicest clothes or whatever and do no cleaning or whatever. I haven't seen mention of that yet, but he may have seen stuff in this video. I haven't.
really just means men who are already pretty smashed. I don't know why, but that reminds me of this rude meme about prostitution. See, the joke is that women think they're awesome until times get tough, and then they rely on men again, which is
Isn't that everyone? Because when times get tough, men starve on the sidewalk. That's the same thing. Like, everyone's screwed when times get tough, you know? Everyone's la-boned. Yeah, but that is a good point on the economy. They say a sign of economic failure is when prostitution and sex work goes up, because it means families are struggling. And that's a common sign. It's why they said Japan's economy crash had some of the biggest boom to their red light thing, when you think about it. Just a tidbit of information.
what patriarchy is, isn't it? Isn't patriarchy when you depend on men who deal directly with the Lord? So if I'm following you here,
Deal directly to the Lord. Wait, what does the Lord have to do with this? The I thought the patriarchy is when men try to keep them down on purpose or something. Am I misconstruing what it's supposed to be? Like, I didn't mean it. I didn't know it was relying on a man. I don't know. I feel like I'm slightly confused. I should look it
you
up again.
used to depend on men and we provided for you, but then you wanted to be independent and intimidating, so then you had the government write some laws to increase equality, but then equality was too expensive for
I'll keep my equality, thank you. No offense, but like, I'm cool. I don't need people buying me. I do earn my own money, but like, I work hard and make videos. Flex my VTuber muscles. But like, I feel like you don't have to trade having a good partner for losing your equality. You just have to like be willing to put in equal effort.
some reason. The reason is that you doubled the size of the labor pool, so now you're
That is actually not the reason. There's a lot of reasons. We've actually watched a few of videos of it. That is not the reason the economy crashed and why inflation has gone up so much. Because the push for women to enter the working pool was because to keep the economy going. Really interesting. Done a few videos on it. You should watch some more on it. But it is a small factor, but it's not the only factor of why the two income has boomed over the and it's just because it's pretty much corporate greed. It's not really women fixing women bad. It's just literally corporate greed pushing everything that makes them more money every single time.
raising your standards to a man who earns more, even though you want to still get paid the same. I didn't even need to leave this page. It's all right here. So that's a real funny definition of equality.
Well, I think raising your standards can mean a lot of different things depending how low your standards are. I think we all know a homie that's standards are in the dirt. Would probably raise them.
That we get paid the same, but men have to give more. Several people have challenged me on this, that men give more to the government and women get more. And it's really not hard to use Google. Only men pay.
Finds that as a group only men pay taxes. How is that possible if the workforce is over 46% women? Explaino? Americano? Because that's not true in America, that's for sure.
Taxes,
I mean,
and
in
everybody
Australia, that's not true in Australia, where it's a large part of the workforce. I'm at taxpayer, something many of us knew 30 years ago.
knew that, but
What's
you.
the next topic?
Here's what that looks like.
Okay. So in the middle, but it's in low when they're retired, but it goes lower in their 20s when women are having kids. That's
And here's your net impact. This is what you contribute and this is what you cost, meaning that the average woman costs $150,000.
Oh, so if you math based on what? Welfare, childcare, costs? Like, what is the cost factor? Like, what is taken in consideration to that top cost? Interesting. Very interesting. But I say if a lot of the, children workload on the woman, of course, they're going to cost more. Children are expensive. But what is that cost if you remove children from the equation?
And even considering all that, it was still too expensive for you to be equal, even though it's not too expensive for us to be equal.
Okay, a lot of people complain that it's too expensive for men to be equal too, because he literally made a point complaining about that women made things more expensive by being in the workforce and oversaturating it, making things more expensive. He literally just complained about it. So I feel like a little bit of not a hypocritical point, because he actually makes it himself, complaining about it.
Even though we get paid the same, and we have to give more to the government, which gives it to you. So if all that was true, then it would be too expensive for us. And it is. So it's not that lovable guys don't have money, or that guys with money are no fun. There's some overlap. It's that guys with money are just very short in supply. A lot of you.
Be real, a lot of us, any of us with money is in short supply. Let's play games here.
Who are looking for
must be our generation.
Few of them. In other words, if this wasn't working, then why would this work? Everyone is looking for a man in finance. 6'5", blue eyes. There just aren't that many. So unfortunately, the answer to where have all the good men gone is that they are busy. They found good women. So you can date for money if you want. Just remember, so is everyone else. By the way, this is a golden rectangle.
My main thing is, if everyone's dating rich guys, then why there's so many women with broke dudes? No, that's just what I find really funny about this. Like, the debate is this, like, if women only date rich guys, then why there's so many women that have dudes that don't pay child support or take care of their children and have no money? How do they both exist in the same? Like, I don't know. Even though I guess single mother percentages aren't as high as people think, it's like 12% or something. But I only know Australian stats. Sorry, guys. I'm biased. But I feel like he brings up some really good points here. And I don't know if all of his home math is like this, but I feel like he makes up some good point why, even though I feel like he has some bias towards his own ideals, he does make a good point on why dating for just money still isn't worth it. Dating for only one asset, be it money, be it looks, be it personality, be it whatever, only focusing on one thing isn't worth it. It's not enough to make a partner. At least that's how I choose to interpret it. You have to look at the whole package and all the things you need for the life you want. At least that's how I choose to take this home math, as kind of like a opportunity to learn something. Also, I guess learn a little bit how people function. Would you say this is how guys think when they come to these conclusions? I'm curious, because I'm not a male. From a male perspective, do you feel like this is how it is working? Do you feel like this math checks out? What do you think? And ladies, apparently there's 20% of you guys think. Do you think this is unfair? His math equations? How do you approach dating? Stuff like that. Don't forget to like, subscribe, ring that bell, and I'll catch you next time, my darling.
In a world of neon lights, till the bunny shines so bright, clumsy hot flood holds her crown, busting sassy folks she's found.